So here we are again at Bill's mushroom garden. Look at these guys.
Aren't these just beautiful? Look at them popping up around the bottom of the dragon fruit here, and peperomia. Just beautiful stuff. I love these mushrooms. And they eat nematodes. Alright. Here, welcome to the oyster mushroom farm. I made a big pile of wood chips on top of a piece of cardboard here in the flower bed. And I mixed the wood chips with corn cobs and with coffee grounds. And then we spawned oyster mushrooms in it. Here we have the beautiful tan oyster. Alright, here is another one. This is cool. This is a black gray oyster. It's kind of a dwarf guy. He's pretty cute. All of this happened because the natural food store over in Hilo had home mushroom growing kits. You know, grow mushrooms in your kitchen. And they'd gotten a little bit old, so they put them to half price. Well, Ellen picked up the boxes, brought 2 different kinds home. I broke the spawn up and spread it around in here. And they are now beginning to spread into the sawdust pile. We should eventually end up with a whole great big sawdust pile full of oysters, I hope.
Well, so here's today's harvested mushrooms from the front yard. Oh, half oysters and half wine cup Stropharia. This is so easy. At least here in Hawaii, raising these mushrooms is easier than growing tomatoes, which tomatoes, of course, are America's most popular garden vegetable. Most Americans actually raise tomatoes at one time or another. These are easier, at least here in Hawaii they are, because tomatoes tend to get funguses, bacteria, and nematodes over here. We can grow them, but they're kind of a challenge. Mushrooms, on the other hand, they love it here. Oh my goodness. With the rapid ohia decline, which is killing off one of our native trees. We got plenty of wood chips from that thing, and then everybody's killing the albizia trees because they break in the storms. They're a weed tree here. So we got all kind of albisias too that could be used to grow shiitakes or wine caps or oyster mushrooms. There's a lot of stuff you could spawn on those trees. So we got a lot of waste wood here that worked good for this. The high rainfall, the temperature range is perfect for growing these mushrooms in Hawaii. A suggestion I have too, and I know from experience, there are a lot of people that when mushrooms pop up in the yard, it troubles them. They're really scared of these things, and they don't really deserve the amount of fear that they usually seem to generate, because it's only a very, very small percentage of the mushrooms on Earth that are actually dangerous. The rest of them are either edible or just innocuous. Anyhow, they're not out to get you, and I kind of recommend that everybody get comfortable with fungi because they are so important on this planet. Nothing happens right without these. And so whereas some people see these as the enemy and an alien invader, that's not true. Your life would not be the same without fungi. They digest and break down all the waste matter. You know, they actually build soils. They feed all the other plants. There's a tremendous amount of science behind the associations between higher plants and mushrooms. And so they're good guys. They're good guys, and we should love them. If you love your garden, you should love mushrooms too, maybe. You know, it's not the worst idea anybody ever had. Getting comfortable with the idea of molds. 20th century and all its chemistry taught us to hate molds, that molds were dangerous, molds would kill us. And, well, nothing could be further from the truth. Yes, there are some molds that are problematic. That's true. But most of the molds on Earth are actually highly beneficial and a really important part of life. Try raising some mushrooms. These wine cap Stropharia is so simple. I put down 2 inches of sawdust. I spread the Stropharia spawn over the sawdust, 1 inch thick, and then put down 1 more inch of sawdust over the top. Waited. Pop, 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 up they come. Last year I think I got about 3 bushels out of the spawning out there, and we're doing all right so far this year too. I'm getting mushrooms almost every day. And when you start to get them in your flower beds, you know, and you bring them in, scramble them up with your eggs in the morning or whatever you're going to do, you kind of tend to get more comfortable, I think, with them, so they're not so scary. Also, the wine cap, this brown one, this guy, it eats nematodes, and so if there's anybody out there who's got trouble with nematodes in the soil, which is very common here, you plant these, and the mycelium from that mushroom will actually digest the nematodes and turn them into toppings for your pizzas. Ain't that cool? So, happy gardening, merry mushrooms, Merry Christmas, season's greetings from the fun guy.